Welcome to the Positively Joyful Productivity Show, where joy isn't a reward for productivity, it's the secret ingredient. I'm your host, Nicole Louise, coach, wife, and dog mom. This is a no-kid zone by design, created for women who are child-free, childless, or an empty nester embracing your next chapter. You all belong here. Each week, you'll hear inspiring stories from women around the world and learn tools, mindset shifts, and practical strategies for living a joyful life. You'll also discover the science behind why focusing on joy fuels focus, motivation, and lasting productivity. Let's get inspired, get organized, and create a life full of freedom, focus, and joy. Hey there, and welcome to the Positively Joyful Productivity Show. I'm your host, Nicole, and I'm glad that you're tuning in today. I want to talk about women using AI. There is definitely some data out there about how men are heavily involved in the creation and the use of AI. And AI is not just for guys. AI is for women as well. And I want to talk about how AI can support you in your everyday life and make things easier, faster, and better for you. So I want to take you back. If you've listened to me for any amount of time, you know that I love meal prepping, and my husband Adam and we meal prep every Sunday. So we take a few hours every Sunday and get our breakfast and lunch ready to go for the week. And usually dinners too, pending. But anyway, so we do that every Sunday. And if you are a fellow meal prepper, you might be aware of like the mental drain that can happen when it comes to figuring out what the heck am I going to eat all week? And if you're someone who is not like me and you like to eat fresh meals every single day, that's even more taxing on your brain because you have to think about, okay, it's Monday. What am I making for dinner tonight? What am I having for lunch tomorrow? What's going to be for breakfast? It's this constant, like, we're human beings. We have to eat. Food is fuel for our bodies. And so the constant, like, thinking about what am I going to eat, it's a lot. It's a big mental drain. It requires a lot of energy for your brain to think about that. And then you throw in, like, if you have food allergies or if you're avoiding certain foods or trying to incorporate more of a certain food, there's like all these little things that can like compile and add up and just make you insane when it comes to meal prepping and planning. It's nuts. And so very recently, I ran into this myself. So I'm in my 40s now, and I'm trying to incorporate more protein. I've always loved fruits and veggies and whole grains. I'm kind of an oddity. Like, I actually enjoy healthy food. I know many people don't. So I'm kind of a rare case. But at any rate, I'm trying to incorporate more protein, and revamping my exercise routine and all that stuff. So just a couple of weeks ago, I was thinking about, like, okay, what am I going to eat? And typically, Adam and I try to keep things pretty simple. Like, we're not cooking gourmet meals every week. We do enjoy cooking like really nice meals. We reserve that generally for like holidays or special occasions. So for an average week for us, it's like, okay, protein, vegetable, grain, like that's our lunch. And again, we're like grilling it or throwing it in the oven. We keep it pretty simple, which is great. It's healthy, it's easy, and a little boring, to be quite frank with you. So I was looking to mix it up a little. Like, I was just in a rut of like doing the same stuff over and over and over. And I'm like, ugh, I'm so over it. Like, I want something different. And then you get stuck in the rabbit hole of searching online for recipes. And okay, so you type in like, healthy chicken dishes and like a million things come up. And then you have to sift through like I don't like those kinds of flavors, or I don't have time to do that, or this doesn't meet my allergy requirements, right? Like, so there's all of that that like gets filtered into it. And it's just, and again, it becomes a taxing endeavor, right? So enter my wellness coach, GPT. So, yes, I use ChatGPT and I have created my own wellness coach, wellness assistant, GPT. So, I have put in all of my health and wellness information, my food preferences, my exercise info, like all that stuff. I've put it into this GPT, and this was incredible. So I said, "Hey, wellness coach, I want to." So I was like, "Okay, I want my protein to be chicken this week. So can you find me a recipe with chicken as the main protein and, following my plan?" Something like that was my prompt. And so I put it in and it spit out this recipe that incorporated flavors that I enjoy. And it also knows what I'm eating for breakfast. And I put in what I was having for dinner. So it knew to like balance out the portions of everything. And bam, like in 2 seconds, this recipe popped out. And I was like, whoa, like mental load saved. It was so incredible. I couldn't believe it. It just saved me so much time, and then I just quickly put the stuff into my AI app grocery list and boom, I was done. And it also knows, so this GPT also knows, my meal prepping habits. And so it was a very simple recipe to make. It was something, that I probably would have made anyway. I just didn't, know to put those ingredients together. So, whoa, it was so cool. So, let's talk about you and let's talk about how AI can support you. So let's jump in here. I want to talk about like the real reason that we struggle with time. And there is this silly thought out there in society that women who are not raising kids just have all the free time in the world, and you're not busy. You can do this and you can do that. Well, that's just nonsense, first of all. Yes, we're busy. We have jobs, we have family. Okay, we're not raising children, but we still have family members that we might have to take care of or check in on or what have you, right? We have our own health issues. We might have pets that we're taking care of. I know I certainly have a 14-year-old pooch who has to go to the vet every month for her medication and like, it's a whole thing. But anyway, so we still have a huge amount of things that we are responsible for and that take up our time. And the mental load of managing all of that stuff is like, it's insane. The way that our world is now, we're always on with, people can constantly reach us on our cell phones. And, there's a meeting for this and a dinner for that. And it's just, it never ends. Am I right? So, again, the mental load of having to manage all of that is intense. And so it's really not about poor planning. So, I mean, you're a smart woman. You've got your calendar, you've got your notifications, you've got all that stuff, right? But it's those like hidden time drains of thinking about what am I going to eat? When am I going to do my laundry? uh how am I going to clean my house? Like all of those like background noise kind of things that may not necessarily be at the forefront of your thoughts, but they're always in the background because you live in your home, it's your environment, you have to take care of these things. So those are like those hidden time sucks that I call them. And so AI is becoming, because I'm, introducing myself to this. So this is like real-time stuff that I'm sharing with you. So I am by no means like the go-to expert, but I am trying this stuff in real time and then kind of just reporting back to you. So yeah, so these are the things that I am doing as productivity hacks for myself. And then, this is how you can use them too. So these things, again, as I shared with you in the meal prepping example, that was a huge mental energy saver because I didn't have to think about, okay, what do I want this week? And the recipe was something different and the flavors were things that I enjoy, but it was something I wouldn't have really thought of myself to create. So freeing up that mental space, for other things was just, oh my goodness, what a weight lifted. I can't even tell you. So let's dive into how AI can support us in everyday life. So let's talk about uh, organization in general. So digital and home organization. So things like I've already mentioned your calendar. So you can sync your calendar to different AI tools. Notion is a tool that I have talked about frequently on this podcast, and you know that I use that. You can sync your calendar to Notion. And so if you go into your Notion created calendar, you can look and see like what's going on there. You can create automations for things to, do all kinds of different stuff. There are different tools within your email inbox that you can utilize to help, declutter your inbox. So I use Google Gmail, and I also, for work, I have Outlook as my email. And I know in both of them, you can create those little categories, or most of the time they're created for you, where, different types of emails can get filtered into different folders. So those like promotional emails that you might get from a store that you shop at frequently, you can filter that into, promotions tab in your Gmail. Same thing with Outlook. I know there's the focused tab and then other, I think is the tab. Teacher on summer break here, so my Outlook brain is not up to date at the moment. So I can't remember the name of the tab. But in any case, your those promotional type emails or things that, you don't use frequently can get filtered to a different inbox. So another way to support yourself, an app that I have started using quite regularly is any.do. So it's the word any.do. It's an AI powered to-do list, which I use my Google Calendar. I have started using Gemini on my phone because I have an Android phone. I've started using Gemini to like add tasks to my calendar. The problem I ran into with that specifically is that my husband and I sync our Google calendars so that, like, if I'm at the doctor and I need to make an appointment, I don't want to like schedule over something that he might be doing and vice versa. And if if he has a day off, he puts it on the calendar so that I know and vice versa. So we sync our calendars that way so that we know what's going on in our, work life and appointment life because, we make appointments without necessarily checking in with each other, but that is a way for us to check in with each other. And then like when he gets home from work at night, we're like, oh, hey, I'm doing this on this date, I put it in the calendar, such and such. So that's kind of how we do that. But anyway, back to why I'm using any.do. So the issue I was running into was I was starting to use Gemini and I'd be like, hey, remind me tomorrow at 6 a.m. to record a podcast episode. Well, my husband is at work. He doesn't need to know that. Or actually at 6 a.m., he's driving to work. Like, he doesn't need that notification going off. He's got other things to worry about, right? He doesn't care, nor does he need to know that. And so, because our calendars were synced, we were running into that issue. I thought I figured out a way to turn that off, but it didn't work. So I don't know. I probably did something wrong or missed something. who knows? But in any case, I'm like, okay, I need a to-do list. I don't necessarily need this on my calendar, but I do need like this to-do list to remind me of things. And so that was why I started using any.do, because it was really for my business things or things that I would need to just get done at home. Like, I need to call this doctor and follow up, or I need to make an appointment for this, or make sure you pay this bill, like little things like that, that again, Adam doesn't need to know. Like, I just have to do those things and it's just for me. So he doesn't need those reminders going off all day long on his phone while he's at work. So, anyway, digital tools to support you with organization in that way. All right, let's talk about health and nutrition. So I've already alluded to this with my custom GPT creation and, meal planning. So I won't, talk about that anymore, but there's grocery list generator tools and meal planning tools that are available for you. Notion has tons of different meal planner templates. If you go use Notion, there's tons and tons and tons available on there. There's also grocery list generators. And if you listened to my other podcast about AnyList, so AnyList is what my husband and I both use for our grocery list. And we used to have the old school whiteboard on the refrigerator. So that was our system. The drawback of that system was that the whiteboard was permanently on the refrigerator. And so if we were out and about somewhere and we thought of something like, oh yeah, I need to add this to the grocery list, we could just grab our phone and do it right there. So it was kind of cool, being able to have access to that grocery list whenever, wherever, because let's face it, our phones are glued to us at all times. Am I right? And so in addition to those tools, fitness and just general habit trackers. So I personally am working on cutting back on alcohol. So alcohol is something that I would come home from work and do what I had to do. And then Adam gets home from work and I'm like, oh, time for a martini or time for a glass of wine. And it just became this really bad habit. And so again, I'm in my 40s, like, starting to get more serious about my health. Not that I wasn't before, but just, in different ways because things change as we age, right? So I found a habit tracker. Habit Now is the name of the app that I'm using. And you can put in whatever your goal is. And so maybe you want to eat, I don't know, eat vegetables, one time a day. And so you can set that as your goal and it will remind you, it'll send you reminders on your phone, which is really helpful, especially when you're trying to make a new habit or break a bad one. Reminders are so crucial to your success, at least for me. Like maybe you can do things cold turkey. I can't always do that. So I know myself, I know I need that support of those little reminders. And I can tell you it's been amazing. Like it has really, really helped me with this personal goal of mine. And I'm doing so great with it. I'm so proud of myself. So just another way that AI has supported me personally, with my health. All right. So let's talk about finances. So another big kind of like hot topic area of life, of course, is, finances and managing your finances and budgeting and all of that stuff. There are some really cool tools available out there. And if you're interested in any of these tools, I have actually put together a free resource for you with the top 40, yes, 40 AI tools available to you now that you can use for all areas of your life. And it's jam-packed with the coolest tools. I have looked into them and I have tried them all out myself, with the exception of a few, because they're things you need to purchase, like appliances. And I haven't purchased all of them. Some of them are like kind of fancy, but cool. Like I'm really interested in them. But yes, I have this free resource available for you, the top 40 AI tools. I will link it in the show notes below. So go ahead and grab that. You can download it now. It is totally free, but it's got 40 amazing AI tools that are going to really revolutionize how you go about your daily life. And I've given you some examples already, but again, check out this free resource for you. Definitely some really cool stuff. Okay, now I want to kind of switch over to talking about like being super techie because I think one of the barriers for women to, getting into and using AI is that there's this like fear of tech or fear of like, I don't know enough to use AI. And I just want to stop and reassure you for a moment. If you know how to give instructions to another person, if you know how to use the internet, if you're comfortable and confident using your cell phone, you, my friend, can use AI. It really, truly is that simple. And I approach AI from a non-techie perspective. You know that I'm a teacher by day. And so, tech is not my first language. I do love tech. I love playing around with it and learning about it and, doing all the cool stuff. But I'm not coming at you from like, I don't work at Google. I'm not a professional coder. I'm not an engineer. Like that's not my background. And so I just want to reassure you that like I'm kind of an average Jane, probably like yourself. And if I can do these things, I know that you can too. So to use AI tools, you do not have to know how to code. You do not have to understand the tech lingo. You can, like, here's a cool hack for you. Go to ChatGPT or Claude or whatever other tool like that you're using and just type in the question, like, what do you need to know how to do? And if you go to one of those tools and ask it, it's going to give you a step-by-step process for how to do what you're asking it. So, like, there's the big AI secret. Go ask it, it'll tell you. And so that's where, it's AI is so accessible to everyone. So if you have access to a phone or a computer, like you can use AI and you can be really proficient at it in a really short amount of time. It's just so darn easy. Like, I don't know how else to say it. But it really is very simple. And once you get using these tools, like you are probably going to make mistakes, but it's okay. Things are always, you can always undo what you've done, or you can always start over. So if you're using these tech tools and you're not quite sure what to do, again, go to ChatGPT, go to Claude, go to whatever language model you're using and ask it what you need to do. So that's the really cool thing. Like most AI tools right now are designed to be pretty easily accessible for people and pretty intuitive. As someone who's used quite a few of them, some of them, like Notion, like I've talked about, like there is a steep learning curve with Notion. All of the other tools, well, I shouldn't say all, but I will say most, the majority of all the other AI tools that I have used have been really, really simple to use. So I just want to kind of like put that out there that just go play with it. Go have fun. If you make a mistake, who cares? Like, let's normalize messy action with AI. It's really not as big and scary as some people might think it is. So there is that with you, or for you, not with you. Okay. The next thing that I want to talk about is, so I've got this, my free resource. I just want to take a moment and talk about my masterclass that I have put together for you. So in my masterclass, you are going to learn how to create your own AI personal assistant. So you've heard me speak about the GPTs that I have created for myself, and you've heard me speak about Notion, and you've heard me speak about any.do. Well, in this masterclass, I am going to teach you exactly how to use it. And again, I'm coming at you from a non-techie point of view. So I'm not that far ahead of you, and I really, really clearly understand where you are at as a beginner with AI. So in this masterclass, it's going to be very easy, very straightforward to set up your own GPTs, to create your own Notion hub, to understand and use any.do. You're going to be able to create your own personal assistants that are at your fingertips 24/7. So the things that you need help with the most and the things that are going to free up your mental energy, that's what you're going to be able to create once you take this masterclass. So again, this is create your own personal AI assistant for beginners. So this is specifically for those of you that are like brand new to AI or very curious about AI and don't know where to start, don't know what to do. But if you would like to clone yourself, clone your brain, have a second brain, then this is really the next best thing for you. So I'm really excited for you to give this a shot. The link to the masterclass will be down below as well. So the free resource and the masterclass will be down below. I really encourage you to go start playing with AI. It's not just for the tech bros. Ladies, let's get out there and let's get our hands dirty too. We can do this. All right. You deserve tools that make your life easier and not more overwhelming. So I want you to ditch the overwhelm and start winning back your time one AI shortcut at a time. Okay, so whew, that was a lot longer than I thought this episode was going to be. So thank you for sticking with me for this long. Please go check out my free resource. And if you love that, if you're interested in creating your own AI assistants like I have and how it has just completely freed up my brain for other things, then go check out my masterclass. Okay, that is going to wrap it up for today. You go play with AI, go get your hands dirty, go take messy action. I am cheering you on. I can't wait to hear what you create and what you do. All right, have a beautiful AI-powered week ahead, and I will chat with you soon.